So what do you think it is that actors do that's the most self-destructive thing, and how we can like stop that in 2020?
Welcome everybody to episode 67 of Watch Ross. It's the last vlog of the decade, and it's the one with the Hollyoaks casting director phoning. Yes, here we are folks, in the park, amongst the holly and the oaks. See what we did there? Shout out to Petch for the creative genius there, although he didn't believe me that I would find holly in the park. He wanted to go and buy some actually from Poundland and just plant it in the park somewhere. I didn't just find like good holly, Petch, I found perfect Christmas holly with red berries on. Beat that. We think that was an oak tree, by the way. We're not sure. Anyway, we're getting ready for not just the final podcast of this year, but the final podcast of this decade, folks, for members of actsonthis.tv. If you're an actor, you're not a member of this website yet, seriously, you need to get it sorted, particularly for next year. You could have been involved with this podcast today if you were. We've got Mr. Peter Hunt, head of Hollyoaks Casting, coming round to my kitchen. We're going to have a brew and a mulled wine, and we're going to be phoning members of actsonthis.tv and answering their acting career questions, helping them not just have their best year ever in 2020, I want you to have the best decade ever for the next 10 years, and then 10 years after that. And just ultimately, we're going to be changing lives today, Petch. We're going to be making dreams come true on the phone. I don't know how. Maybe we'll get Peter to just like offer people jobs on the phone. I don't know. But honestly, if you are an actor, we've been telling you now for 67 vlogs to get involved with this community. I'm getting messages from actors every day who are listening to these podcasts, watching the videos we're putting out, and they're telling me how they're acting on the information within these features. That's why it's called Act on This. They're taking action, they're working hard, and they're signing with new agents, they're landing work on TV. Ultimately, like, you know, they're really progressing way further, way faster than they ever had before, because they're getting involved, you know, with what we're producing. So please, if you are an actor, give yourself the best gift you can give yourself this Christmas, and do get involved. Petch is blowing into his hands. He looks freezing cold. Petch will go back to the apartment, we'll get set up, Peter's on his way round. You're going to see a few clips of this podcast now. If you want to watch the whole thing and listen to the whole thing, get over to actsonthis.tv after this. But we will be back after a few clips for a final chat with Peter, some extra exclusive content for you guys. And yeah, the final, God, I can't believe it's the final episode of this decade. Without further ado, this is the Peter Hunt Podcast. Peter Hunt, Hollyoaks casting extraordinaire. Welcome to my kitchen, my apartment. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Peter, this is like the third. Is this the third one we've done? Well, the third feature for actsonthis.tv we've done.
I think so.
We did a podcast where I came to Hollyoaks.
Yeah.
We did a live broadcast, which is still available on the website. Those who are watching on the website right now, actsonthis.tv, you'll still find that in the members area. And then this is going to be something completely different, mate.
I think that's because you wanted me in the room, because last time, do you remember we had to swap laptops like 5 seconds before?
We were literally going live. We were doing a live broadcast Q&A. And then, yeah, we set up, like, we did a tech test that was perfect though, didn't we?
I know, but I told you we don't do technology.
And then 5 seconds, like, well, probably 5 to 7, we'll be going live, bang on 7 o'clock. Yeah, your laptop died. I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We pulled it together
Use
though.
the spare one, yeah.
We went live, bang on 7 o'clock. Had we not said anything, no one would have known.
I mean, story of my life, down to the wire.
Exactly.
Got it done.
I love it though, living on a knife edge. So fill us in on what's happened in the last year then over at Hollyoaks then, since we last did a feature.
I mean, it's been busy. Lots of new regulars, lots of guests. I think our show is probably busier than the other soaps, but that's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Lots of new talent coming through. So
awards as well.
This has been a year for awards.
Tell us what you've won. You've won some good stuff.
So we won Best Soap, Best Actor, Best Actor, and I'm trying to think what we've won. Broadcast Award for Best Continuing Drama. We've done quite well on the Digital Spy Reader Awards this year. So
they've only just come out, haven't they? I think.
Yeah,
because I saw those come out the other day. Who won Best Actor?
Greg Finnegan.
Nice.
For James. So, and then we are nominated for National Television Awards because they've put a new category in for soap actors.
Oh, right. When's the NCAs?
January, end of Jan 28th.
Right, so if you're watching this when it goes out before January the 28th,
get your votes in for
Hollyoaks. Get your votes
Hollyoaks.
in. I mean, what we're going to talk about today and the advice you are going to give out, Peter, to the actors that we're going to call is going to be evergreen. But if you are watching before the 28th or whenever the voting period is still open, get bloody voting. Otherwise, he ain't ever seen you for a casting. Definitely. So today we're going to do something a little bit different, okay? We're going to be phoning actors who are members of actsonthis.tv. I have a list of them here. They're programmed already into my phone. And we're going to be asking, they're going to be asking anything to do with their acting career, basically.
This is either a good idea or a really bad idea.
I never know how this is going to go. It's always interesting. But I thought, do you know what? This is the last podcast of this decade. This is the last vlog we're doing alongside the podcast.
Well, that makes
of
it
this
sound
decade.
very important.
So, don't let us down, Peter. I mean, ultimately, it's all down to you. Yeah, before we do that, we're just going to talk just for a few minutes. With us, approaching the end of a decade, an awful lot has happened since 2010. When did you become casting director at Hollyoaks?
2015.
2015. So it's halfway through the last decade. So 5 years there. How have you seen just the industry in general change over the last decade? Because it has, so much has happened, with the introduction of pay-per-view services like Netflix, like Amazon, the amount of content that's being produced on those platforms. Actors are now self-taping. That wasn't a thing back in 2010. All this kind of stuff. Has it evolved for the better or for the worse?
A bit of both is probably the answer. As I said, when I started in casting in 2010. Doing little bits and pieces and assisting other casting directors, and then obviously took over doing bits on my own. But as I said, when I started self-tape, wasn't a thing.
No.
When I first started working with agents donkeys years ago, you used to have to send 10x8 pictures stapled to CVs in the post.
I did that. Honestly, there was something so satisfying about dropping your 25 A4 envelopes. And if you were rich, if you were a bit flush, actually I wasn't at drama school, but you'd spend the extra 25p per envelope. So it was card backed. So do not bend on it. Otherwise your headshot would get there in a scrumpled heap. And there was something so satisfying. You'd write your letters. You'd attach your 10x8s that I'd go and get printed at Asda because they're at 80p each. And then when you drop them in the postbox and you hear that as they all hit the bottom, and then you walk away. Did you ever do this, Petch? You walk away with this incredible optimism, oh my God, I'm going to be flooded with replies. 6 weeks later, nothing.
Self-tapes is definitely a new thing. Again, I'm still getting my head around that because not being very technical. When they come in on different formats, it can be quite difficult.
Right, okay.
Because some come in on WeTransfer, some on Vimeo, some are attached as files, some come on agent software. So there are lots of different versions, and it's trying to get your head around all of those different ones.
How many parts are you casting from self-tape? Do you ever cast any of the smaller roles just from a tape?
Very, very rarely. And it might potentially be if the director's already worked with the actor before.
Yep.
On something a couple of years ago, hasn't seen them recently, but would like to consider them for the role. But often, sometimes people are working or something like that. So we'd send them the role that they're being considered for and ask them to self-tape. So if the director's potentially already worked with them, maybe like that, but never really just off a tape.
But that'd be what, the gateway to seeing them in person or something, just look, we're going to do first round on self-tapes.
And actually, I think that's probably what self-tape has done. It has allowed you to see more people than you might do. So we've just been working on another show for the past 12 months for a video on demand. Because you can't say which one it is. Those companies. Which, as you said, didn't exist a few years ago. So I think actually it is creating more work for actors. But as you said, sometimes you want to be able to see as many people as possible. And actually, if you've got 2 days in your diary to do sessions in London, but you would have liked to have seen more, actually maybe opening it out to more agencies and more actors is a way for you to consider more people and find people that you maybe wouldn't have had time to see. So I think it's a blessing and a curse because it's a lot of work, and I think actors do have to know how to self-tape now. It's got to be part of it, right?
It's a moment of truth. Pick up Elliot.
Hello.
Elliot, how are you, mate? It's Ross Grant from Act On This. I am here.
Hey, mate. How's it going?
I'm very, very well. I'm here with Peter Hunt, casting director of Hollyoaks. And also, we're going to talk as well, Peter, like other stuff as well. It's not just Hollyoaks. You do cast for live. Mm-hmm. But we're here for you, Elliot. It's Christmas and we want to make dreams come true. What can we do for you,
No
mate?
pressure.
Bloody hell. I didn't expect to get cold, to be honest.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm like Father Christmas, mate. I always deliver.
Well, the question I popped in was, sorry, just running to my van 1 sec.
You're running to your barn?
No.
Oh, your van.
My van, yeah.
Oh, right, I thought it says barn.
Barn, no. I thought you said bomb. I thought,
I've no idea what it's going. It's going really well.
Yeah, so the question I was asking is what is it about? So what do you think it is that actors do that's the most self-destructive thing? And how we can like stop that in 2020? That makes any sense?
Oh, does make sense. Yeah.
Like if that's like whether it's kind of like, for me, it'd be quite helpful to know like in the first hurdle, whether it's like getting good headshots, don't go cheaply on them, or your show reels, or what is it that you think, God, they just literally self-destructing themselves from the get-go?
I think there's two things that I'd probably go for. And the one thing is, you've just mentioned headshots and show reels. Is I get a lot of people that will send them to me, obviously, to be considered for work, but will also go, well, what do you think of my pictures? What do you think of my show reel? I don't know if they're right for me. I often think if actors are saying, do you think they're right for me? Probably deep down, you don't think they are.
Yeah.
And should I take that scene out of my show reel? Well, if you're asking me that means you're not asking me about the other scenes in your show reel. There's one scene that you're asking me whether or not you should keep it in. So the answer is probably not. I think it's about being honest and looking at all of your materials, seeing yourself as a business and going, does that represent me? And seeing how you package yourself. I think the other thing is it's keeping positive, and I know that probably sounds really obvious, but often mentioning headshots and show reels, that can be an actor's excuse for why you're not getting work. The reality is it's just really tough out there, and there's a lot of people wanting to do it. And I think acting, as with any other business, what you need to do is just look out there and see what everybody else is doing, and really just try and sit down for a couple of hours on Sunday maybe and think, well, what can I do that's not too gimmicky that other people aren't doing? And often that is research, and in the detail of the emails that you're sending. I think we had a chat the other day, and I'd said one thing that turns me off reading when people write is when it's just hire or to whom it may concern or something like that, because I go, well, if you've not taken you've not taken the time to write to me individually, then because it is busy with the emails coming in, why should I read it? Any other business would be the same. If you were trying to market something or a product, you'd want that to be specific. So I think better to write one really detailed letter a week than it is to do 5 generic copy and pastes. But I do think a positive attitude is a really big thing, and being who you are and not looking for reasons or things to blame why you're not getting work.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really interesting. Yeah, it's like you said. I listened to a podcast you guys were on before, and you were saying that I think like people like try and especially when they're starting off, to try and be everything. You know what I mean? Open their casting brief up as high as they can, but
just be honest about who you are and what you're doing, and that's what makes you interesting and unique. And again, I think I'd mentioned before, with gaps in CVs, I don't print CVs for my directors or producers, so nobody knows what you've done. It really is about what you've done or what you do in the room. So I think, again, with that confidence, you have to come in and go, you're not being judged on whether you went to RADA, you're not judged on whether or not you've had a TV job. It is about what you do in that room, and that is on you and how well you prepare and how you handle nerves and all of those sorts of things.
Elliot, let's just get a little bit specific on you, mate. I just want to give you as much value as possible. So where are you at in your career now, and what do you let's look at 2020, right? What do you want from the first 30 days of that year? Because I want people like breaking their goals down into like manageable, actionable steps. Ultimately, I think having a general goal, I think it's bullshit when people go, "Oh, next year I want to work more." Well, it's just a ridiculous goal. What do you actually want? So, where are you, mate? Have you in terms of your credits? How long are you in your career right now?
I started off in theatre, so I haven't got a TV credit yet. So that is what I'm going for. To get that day roll, anything like that.
What are you casting wise? What kind of stuff can you do you bracket wise are you in? How old are you for a start?
I'm 28, but I look about 35 because I've been in the building game for 12 years.
I'm 38 and I look 21.
Do you know what? It's really interesting you say that. A lot of people would go, I'm 28 and I look 21. Actually, if you go, do you know what? I'm 28 but I look 35 and that's what I'm selling. You take ownership of that, and actually more people need to be truthful about what it is that they're selling. And you said that you work in the building game. Great. Well, instantly there's certain roles there that you go just based on profession alone. Why would we get somebody to come and play a builder when actually if we had a director in the room and we went, this is an actor who is a builder, like I really don't know who'd be better to play a role like this or something like that.
If the builder is coming in, you're in, mate, definitely. If Elliot wanted to come in as a paramedic or a doctor, or what are the other day player roles you cast in Hollyoaks regularly? How would he get into that, do you think?
I think it's about understanding.
I just wanted to ask a question about like the casting process. Obviously, like I've done a lot of research and everything, but because I haven't really got much experience, it's a bit difficult. So I was just wondering, when it comes down to like the final people, like, let's say at the last audition or something, what makes one person stand up from the other person, like aside from their acting abilities?
Oh, is there anything in the actor's control? Because sometimes this has just come down to looks and stuff, but what can they control in this situation?
Show us a little bit of who you are. Often, because obviously we've got two things. So we've got the regular stuff where we do screen tests, when it's normally between maybe the last 3 or 4 people, and then a decision's made almost immediately after the screen test. And that's whilst it's fresh in everyone's head as to how everyone's been as they've come in the room. And often our producers and directors get excited about personalities that don't feel apologetic. That's the worst thing, is when an actor comes in the room and they're almost apologetic for being there. They don't come in with people want you to do well. That's why you're in that room. And if you're getting to the stage you're meeting directors or producers, and you've got to take that opportunity and have that confidence that you're there and that you can do it. And I think it's about personality, the people that aren't afraid to come in and shake the director's hand or the producer's hand. I remember one of the best screen tests we did was someone coming in going, because we did it on set, went, oh, it's nice in here, isn't it? I can move in here. And just having a bit of banter and a bit of fun. As you said, it's not about being overconfident, but the reality is when you get to a screen test stage, particularly for regulars, that is about, can you walk on set in front of a crew of people with producers watching your work live on a monitor and own that space and go, yeah, I'm confident, I can walk onto a set and I can do this. And likewise, coming into a room, and it's not, you said you hadn't done particularly much, you didn't feel like you'd done much. It's not disselling yourself. The reality is, if I've got your CV, I know you've probably not done very much, but sometimes I'll big an actor up and go, say all of their good qualities to a director or a producer, and then I'll come in and say, what have you been up to recently? And they're like, oh, I've not done very much. It's one of my first auditions. And you're like, dude, come on.
I've just bigged you up.
Help me out here, because you're already coming up with reasons to not give you the job. You're disselling, or you're making the decision makers doubt your ability if you're already doubting yourself vocally. So I think it's how you use what you've got in a really positive way.
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Hi, Pete.
I'm good, Joe. You all right?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I just want to know if there's. I'm not sure if there is an answer to this, but I want to know how I can move up to the next level. So I've done loads of small parts over the years. I was filming Coronation Street this morning, which was very nice. But I want to do more. I want to be seen for regulars, and like a lot of other people. And I wondered if there's anything I could be doing to make that next step.
Boom! There you go. Here we are, rocking around the Christmas tree, Peter. We're purposely keeping a gap between us, not because we've fallen out during the podcast, just because we want to show off this lovely tree. We're just going to expand on something that was mentioned in the podcast there for a couple of minutes. If you want to watch the whole... That was an hour and 50 minutes, I think. Hour and 50 minutes of incredible advice.
That feels long.
Right? It went fast, though, didn't it?
No, it did. But...
Super quick. Hour and 50 minutes. Go over to actsonthis.tv. If you ain't got your membership yet, I don't know what you're doing. 2020, it's just not going to be the year it could be if you ain't going to get involved with this. So go and watch the whole thing, and that's on this.tv right now. But the thing that came up for me, in almost every phone call there, Peter, was people getting specific, not just a little bit specific about what you want, but crazy laser focus specific about what it is you want from your acting career and your life in 2020. And when you get that specific, you can then work backwards. So many people, after their first TV credit,
and they weren't being specific about how they were going to do that. For those people who are watching right now and are after their first or even 10th credit, it doesn't matter, just elaborate a little bit on that specificity. I've not briefed you on this mic, but you literally have to hold it on your chin, otherwise people can't hear you.
I think it would be about just admit who you are and use that and have that personality, I think, come across in your letter. I think they can sound too official or too just like job applications. So I think be specific about who you are and let us see some of your personality. And also, if you've had another career or skills, then why would you not use that? Yes. So, yeah.
Definitely. Just elaborate on that a little bit about coppers and stuff.
Yeah, we had a couple of phone calls from people that were coppers and stuff like that, but weren't using that to go, hey, I know that you cast lots of copper roles. So I think those are kind of skills that you're going to have over other people. So use your everyday and experiences to write to people and say those sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Yeah. If you were a copper for 23 years, don't hide it. Don't say, I had another profession before I decided to be an actor. You can go on a set. Peter says that he casts coppers on what? How many times a month?
Yeah, at least once a month.
Yeah, at least once a month. You literally could go on a set and arrest somebody way better than I could, even though I've done it 10 times, because you did it for 23 years. I've been on a set and done it for even 10 times. Probably doesn't equate to even a day in a life of a copper. You've done it for 23 years. Tell people about that. So let's get specific in 2020 for what we want. Like I say, get over to actonthis.tv. Get your membership if you've not got one already. Listen to the full thing. Please reach out. Social media's up on screen right now. Reach out to me and Peter. Let us know you've listened. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was. Petch, why don't you come around for Christmas? Or can you get out of there? Let me move that. I'm going to move this. Oh, he can get round. Yes, Petch hasn't been on the vlog for a little while. Got any Christmas wishes for the viewers?
Have a good Christmas and make 2020 the best one yet.
Excellent. I just wanted to bring him around because he's the only one in Christmas attire. Now the tree is completely blocked. So, Peter, thank you so much. Once again, we're going to get into the theatre now. We'll be back in January for another vlog. Don't know who's going to be on it yet, but you're going to want to watch it. And until then, guys, you know what time it is. If you remember the catchphrase? Bye for now. Oh, yeah. We didn't brief him enough. We've got to get Peter to the theatre. You know what time it is. In 3, 2, 1. Bye for now. Thank you so much for watching this episode. It really would mean the world to me if you would leave a comment telling me what you enjoyed and what you would like to see more of next time. If you want to catch more episodes, head over to facebook.com/WatchRoss or youtube.com/WatchRoss. Make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on. I'll be back real soon. Bye for now.
Chin chin.